Welcome to the Pop Tower Podcast with your host, the man behind the myth, Peter Dawson, and the soulful Lordy, James Bullock.
It's episode 57, and we are going straight to the point. I am indeed Peter W. Dawson.
And I am James Bullock.
And we're here to talk about video games and television. I'm not even going to make the joke about streaming. I'm just sick of that.
It's like it's one of your gimmicks, man. You got to keep it going.
Yep. Well, speaking of keep it going, I'm just going to dive right into it. So we're going to talk about two things today.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're going to talk about Fire Emblem Three Houses. I think this is the first time we've fully talked about a Switch game on this show.
Yeah, because the closest thing, that really is. This is a full-blown Switch. Like, we've never talked about an actual just Switch-exclusive game.
Yeah. And then we're going to talk about the third season of Glow on Netflix.
Yes.
So we'll start out with Fire Emblem, which will be pretty straightforward because you have not played it.
No, actually, I have had the opportunity to, since we've last talked. So I've actually been enjoying a little bit of it. I'm a Switch bum. I don't own a Switch, but I'm using other people's.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. I own a PS4, but half the time, the new games I play at someone else's house before I play at my own.
Right.
So it's weird for me. Okay, so for those that aren't familiar, Fire Emblem is a really long-running tactical RPG series that has been published mostly through Nintendo.
Right.
Like, I believe Intelligent Systems is the ones that produce it. Because they do that. They do Paper Mario, and they do, was it Advance Wars?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I forgot all about that game. That was a great game.
Absolutely.
That was a great series, man. It was a Game Boy Advance. That was a great series.
Yep. Yeah. So, and this is like the 15th, I want to say. There's been a bunch.
Yeah,
and it gets really... Well, it gets really annoying, too, because the first game and the third game are basically the same game, but the third game added more. And then they did, like, another remake later on. Like, this series has so many remakes in it, too. It's crazy. But speaking of which, so, Fire Emblem Three Houses just came out this year in 2019. And interestingly enough, it was a co-production with Koei Tecmo.
Yes.
Now, Koei Tecmo specifically, the team that does... It didn't do Dynasty Warriors, but it did do Fire Emblem Warriors.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, which is the Fire Emblem spin-off where they took all the warriors from various Fire Emblem games and crammed it all together.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense now considering the gameplay and action sequences. It feels very Dynasty Warriors accent and, like you said, Fire Emblem Warriors. Yeah,
but notably, the team that did this within Koei Tecmo didn't do Dynasty Warriors. They just did Fire Emblem Warriors and Dragon Quest Heroes. But they did a lot of Romance of the Three Kingdoms as well.
Okay, yeah.
Like that core series.
It's so many little influences now, if you say that, I definitely see it in the gameplay.
Oh, and Neo, too.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like this is Ko Shibusawa, I believe his name is. Like, he's one of the main dudes at Koei. But he didn't do Dynasty Warriors. That was a Mega Force.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very important distinction. And now my voice is gone. Oh, my God.
The power of the Warriors compelled you.
I just got 1,000 KOs and I'm exhausted. So this one is set in an entirely new Fire Emblem universe. The realm of Fodlan. Fodlan. Yeah, and it's a very fleshed out world. It's probably one of the most fleshed out in a while because Dragon Quest Fates, the most recent game that wasn't just a remake or a spin-off, that didn't even have a proper world name.
Right.
Which is really screwy. And the previous games in recent memory were also criticized for being a little too kiddie.
Yeah.
So this one kind of returns to, if I had to describe it to someone who's watched anime but never played one of these games before, it's kind of got a mix of the atmosphere of Berserk and then a bit of Game of Thrones, too.
Yeah, it really does. I was surprised that, like you said, I've always kind of had a little bit of a childlike demeanor when it comes to Fire Emblem, even with a little bit of the more serious tones. And this one really surprised me how they are really trying to go with a mature presentation.
Yeah, well, like, they drew influence from one of my favorites in the series, the fourth one, Genealogy of a Holy War.
Okay.
that one's really good, in my opinion, anyway. Like that one's very linear more than the other ones.
Right,
because,
right.
like, you know, for a long time these games are super linear. But that one in particular has a really good kind of Game of Thrones, complicated universe. You're just trying to do the right thing, but it's not so easy. And, like, even, like, the bandit attack is complicated because it's a politically motivated bandit attack.
Right, right.
Which is, like, where in this one, the bandit attack seems pretty benign. There's more to it eventually, but of course. But because almost all these games open with a bandit attack.
Right.
Because you need a generic guy with an axe for your hero with a sword to defeat in the first level.
Right, right. You have to open it up in a way that it makes you feel powerful all the time.
Yeah. No, so, in general, this game is, I think, not only a return to form after maybe a couple of more disappointing titles. I haven't played the 2017 Echoes of Valencia or whatever it is, the remake of Fire Emblem 2. Yeah. I've heard that was really good, but I didn't really
like... Yeah, too, yeah.
I didn't really like Fates that much, so...
Yeah, I really didn't either.
Like, this is probably my favorite since Awakening. Which isn't saying much.
But even within, this is one of those ones where I feel like it's got a perfect blend of being easily accessible while having that great deep Fire Emblem gameplay. Like, if they take their time in explaining the elements and the gameplay factions and formulas that allow you to really, especially in combat, choose the way you want to fight. Like, I was very happy to see how in-depth you could go with your customization options.
Yeah, which is funny, because, like, some of the stuff they had to cut out, like, there's, your main character isn't that customizable.
Right.
Basically just gender and name.
Yeah, that's about it.
Which is, there is a plot reason for that, which is fair. And, I mean, changing the costume wouldn't matter too much, because you change costumes when you change class anyway.
Exactly.
So, it's not the end of the world in that respect. I understand why they cut corners there. They went for a fully mute protagonist, which I think this is the first time the protagonist is 100% mute.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, because even in Fates and such, you could choose dialogue to a degree, but the cutscenes, they were pretty much all scripted.
Right, right.
Like, so there's well, some of the choices don't really matter. You know, you can get some that affect relationship values, which that's one of the key things, because besides being a tactical RPG that is turn-based, uses a tile system, and there's weapon durability, that actually got cut out of a couple of them, I know.
Yeah,
yeah. So it's nice to see durability back and not too terribly clunky.
No, it's not, and it doesn't feel like it's that limiting to the player either.
No, but yeah, like probably the other thing is like there's a huge social aspect where you can create relationship values with characters, and you can see unique cutscenes based on these relationship values.
Right, because it's a big open world hub. I mean, not open world, but the hub is pretty much an open ground for a school area and just an academy where you can run around and talk to a lot of the students and the soldiers and everything. And like you said, depending on how you have your system, very similar to somewhat like a Persona game.
Oh, this one in particular really pulls from Persona 5.
Right.
Well, and Persona 4, I guess.
Where you could decide who do you want to spend your time with, and hopefully it will be beneficial in the long run.
Yeah. Like, in general, I think it's a pretty good game. I have 3 critiques.
Okay.
One pedantic, 2, I think, legitimate. I'll start with the pedantic one.
Okay.
So a major part of the game is characters being born with crests, which are like symbols of power that are bonded within them and give them the ability to use certain unique weapons and stuff like that.
Right.
So the word for crest in Japanese that they use in this game can also mean emblem.
Yes.
Which means that the crest of flames could actually be called the Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem, yes.
So why the heck didn't they just do that? I get that crests are easier to say in quick conversation than emblems.
Right.
But still.
I mean, but you
like, both sound stupid.
I know. It just kind of like rolls off the tongue
The evil
better,
of the crests is about as dumb as the evil of the emblems.
Yes. Like, to me, actually, emblem actually rolls off the tongue a little bit easier.
Yeah, I think it's just because crest is one syllable.
Maybe.
Yeah, but of course you also get the jokes now about toothpaste. Right? Like, you can't win with this, is what I'm saying.
No.
Some of the other names are a little clunky. Like, one of the big kind of rumored evil things is just the Nemesis, which I'm like, all right.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
Yeah, generic evil monster, random generic monster name right now. Nemesis. Okay, that's what we're going with.
Yeah, the malice, the calamity, whatever. Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, the weakness of Fire Emblem games has never been the actual lore, because like there's usually a dark god, it's usually a dragon, and an evil cult's usually trying to revive it. I mean, that's
you put up
10 out of 15 of the Fire Emblem games, I think.
Yeah, like I said, you put up with the lacking kind of story and ingenuity for the fact that the gameplay is just so fun.
The gameplay's good, and the character dynamics in general are pretty good.
Especially in this one.
Oh yeah, well, like in Genealogy of Holy War's pretty good too. Like the political intrigue in that one, and there's some good political intrigue here. But okay, so man, the cutscenes.
Oh yeah.
Some of them are really bad.
Really bad.
Yeah, because they're very. Because to be fair, up until now, Fire Emblem cutscenes have mostly just been visual novel style portrait conversations.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, more of still shots and dialogue running and very just like sequential mouth movement or emotion showing. Like all of a sudden somebody's a little bit disgusted, their face frowns up. That's about it.
Yeah, but no, in this case, yeah, they do a lot more, and it leads to some really awkward pacing on the cutscenes and just dialogue delivery. Like, some games, it feels like the cutscenes go on way too long. Like, basically anything Kojima does.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the opposite of that. It's like, guys, for the love of God, add a little flourish.
I know, you could do a little bit more. I understand the fear that it's going to be a little bit too much for the Switch to handle, but you could do a little bit more than that.
Yeah. But thankfully, like I said, the characters in general are pretty well written.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, like, obvious good guys. I mean, there's some obvious designated villains.
Right, yeah, it's obvious that these people are a little bit higher on the evil role than a lot of others, or lower on the good role. But in reality, that's one thing I really did appreciate about the story, is the fact that it really doesn't feel like there is a good side of each faction. Like, there is, it's whoever side you're on, that's the good side, but it's not, maybe, reality, not the good side.
No. And, yeah, they do a lot of stuff really well with that. But the last one I got to critique, it's very much a gameplay element.
Okay.
I bet you know what this one is.
Yeah.
The class system.
Yeah.
You probably know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
It has to do with gender.
Yeah.
Boy, howdy.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so to simplify this, because I don't want to spend too much time going into this, the game has a class system for characters where when they hit a certain level, they can unlock a new class, and then those new classes, can have various effects, including skill point bonuses, stat bonuses, level up bonuses, whatever. So the master classes, which are the high-end classes you can unlock starting at level 30, there's 8 of them.
Mm-hmm.
They are incredibly limited in some really stupid ways.
Yes.
First of all, I don't think there's a male-exclusive master class.
No, I don't think so. No.
No. But there's 2 female-exclusive ones, and one of them is the only Master of Magic class.
Yes.
Which is really dumb, because, like, there are a lot more female mages in this game than male mages, which makes the second thing I'm about to describe really dumb, because there are male-only mage classes at the lower levels.
It makes no sense.
I know, like, that was really... Like, there are still male mage master classes, but they're, like, mounted ones.
Right.
So you suddenly have to level up your cavalry abilities, A, for somebody who's been primarily a mage, to unlock this class. Like... I really don't think they fully thought this through.
Yeah, it was very obvious once I saw how it was developing, and like you said, once you get to those master classes, like, somebody really dropped the ball here. Like, I don't understand what their logic was with this.
Yeah, like, some of the other ones make sense. Like, going from Pegasus Knight, there's a gap where Wyvern Knight would be the Wyvern Rider would be the most obvious, and then you hit Falcon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
That one's a little clunkier, but at least it's still flying.
Right.
And like swords and lances, and it's just the Wyvern one also needs axes, which is a little awkward, but you can still make do, because, I mean, you don't need to have 100% to potentially unlock the class.
Exactly.
Thank God. But then some of the other male ones are pretty BS, too. Like Hero.
Yeah.
And like I said, both Dark Knight ones are... And, oh, one of my favorites. Catherine, one character, specializes in swords and fists.
Yes.
But the main fist classes are male exclusive.
Exclusive, yes.
And then the other one that isn't is axes and fists. And it's like, lady, what is the point of you? Like, some of these characters as a result just suck. It's really frustrating that they kind of set it up that way.
Especially when, like you said, there may be certain people, certain characters that you really enjoy playing with, and then they become so limited when you really want them to be the most useful.
Yep. But on the plus side, there's still plenty of adorable shipping conversations you can have.
Yes, there is.
Okay, I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna hear. Who did you initially ship yourself with?
Oh man.
I'll go first.
I want to see if you can guess. I really am, because I want to see how well you know me.
Well, which route did you pick?
I actually took the Blue Lion route first time.
You know what? I'm going to take the obvious pick and say Bernadetta.
There you go.
Yep. That's a fair one, because she is super popular.
Yes, she is.
I went Black Eagles.
Okay, I figured you'd probably go Black Eagles.
Yeah, because I thought that was the obvious place to start. And I went with female with Dorothea.
Okay, all right.
So, I'm adventuring with an opera singer who's also bisexual, thank you very much. And I am loving it. But, okay, bottom line, as frustrating as some of these mechanics are, and I'm kind of hoping they somehow patch it later on, well, I don't think they will, because they would have done it by now.
Yeah.
And there's some other stuff we could critique, which we won't get into, but bottom line, this is a pretty good return to form for the series, and, like, if you want something you can invest a lot of time in, boy howdy can you do that, because one playthrough of this game is going to take you easily 60 to 80 hours. Yeah,
it was amazing, the thought of how much time I put in just to play through one, and the options for 3 more, just to see really the whole story. Like, this is a game that's going to keep you busy for a long time if you wanted to.
Oh, absolutely. It's almost like it's perfect for a flight.
Yeah, perfect.
Not foreshadowing something at all.
Yeah.
But, no, absolutely. I think it's a pretty good game. Could still be better. Like, I've played games this year I think that would take my Game of the Year over this, but it's just so fun to play.
You're right.
Like, and, it's definitely a good investment if you're taking your Switch places or just playing your Switch in general and you love yourself a tactical RPG.
Oh, very much so. And the thing about it, it's not like one of those things where you can put a great amount of time in it, but in terms of just like playing it for a little bit and cutting it off, if you just have like an hour to spend, you can get a lot done.
Absolutely. But I think we're going to move on from there.
All right.
Because we already spent a fair bit of time on it. Let's talk about Glow.
Yes, after a glowing review of Fire Emblem The Three Houses, now we must glow. Now I don't know if we're going to give such a glowing review for Season 3 of Glow.
Sorry, you weren't feeling it?
I enjoyed it, but there were certain... okay, I will say this. We have complained about, especially the Marvel shows, when they were on Netflix.
Yep.
For having too many episodes.
Yep.
This is a situation where I wanted more.
That's fair. Yeah, because we got 10, which I think was about the right number, but it does feel like it could have benefited from being 12.
Yeah, it was one of those things where, especially like the last couple of episodes, I felt like they really had to rush.
They did, because they really wanted to give everyone something to do. Like, I'm trying to think who... Like, Vicky, once again, basically got nothing to do.
Right.
Which she basically never does.
No, she doesn't.
But, I'm trying to think. Somebody else... Because everyone else still had something to do, at least one episode.
Yeah, because we had, Jenny, or Fortune Cookie, she had, like, a little bit of a moment.
Yeah, she had a pretty good moment with Melrose.
Yeah, that was probably her best scene throughout the entire series thus far.
Yeah. And then, Carmen didn't get much to do, I don't think, this season.
No, not at all. I was just about to say, she did not get anything this season.
Yeah.
She had a couple of scenes, one featuring our returning favorite apple eater, Carlito, and that was not much. Like, they kind of teased that moment with her and her brother, and then it was like nothing, and then she had a big moment at the very end, and that was it. Yeah.
Actually, that reminds me, I should probably say it before we start, so the basic premise of this one is that Glow is now located in Vegas.
Right. Because that was the end of the second season where they got hired to be a show in Vegas, pretty much off of the quote-unquote season finale or series finale of Glow when they were on public access.
Yeah, and they got kicked off public access. And they were doing...
You know you're bad when you get kicked off of public access.
Yeah, but and their new sort of boss lady is, okay, I want to say the full name, Sandy Devereaux St. Clair.
Yes. Played
by the always awesome Gina Davis. I don't know about always awesome. I can think of a couple of things she sucked in, but still.
No, I mean majority of the time.
Oh yeah, and I've seen Cutthroat Island. Oof. But so yeah, as a result, they're in Vegas and they're dealing with basically every type of issue you could imagine.
Yeah, I mean, they really threw everything against the wall when it came to issues this season.
The frickin' space shuttle explodes in the first episode, and we get lesbian romance issues. We get racial issues. We get body image issues. We get physical disability issues. We get sexuality issues, on top of the lesbian issues.
Right, hate crimes on top of the lesbian issues.
Right, I forgot about the hate crime.
Yeah.
It's just...
of course, family issues when it comes to parents and children that have been long estranged.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty classic. Romance issues, of course.
Yes.
More than a few.
Yeah, really. Some unexpected ones as well.
Yeah.
Including one of my favorite, this is a very slight spoiler, but Melrose decides that she wants to try to hook up with a guy during just a random night out. And he believes that she's a hooker. I mean, she believes that he thinks she's a hooker. So she's very accepting of the situation.
Of course, it's pretty much about how Melrose rolls. It's always kind of been a thing. Yeah, like I'm trying to think who, because Sheila, or I should say, actually has a fair bit to do this season.
Yeah, I was about to say, if anybody really to me stood out this season, that. Even though she has in the past seasons, but like really got a big spotlight compared to the previous seasons, it was Sheila because she had an incredible character arc.
Yeah, just hers was like Ruth had a solid enough one, and Debbie had an okay one. I had some issues with hers.
Yeah, same here.
You can probably guess why.
Yeah, and Cherry Junk Chain, she had a pretty good arc.
Yeah, hers like way better than season 2, I thought.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Yeah, like I said, Carmen got like nothing.
No, not at all.
Sam has a pretty solid one.
Yeah.
Not a shock there. I mean, Sam, Ruth, and Debbie having decent arcs isn't a big shock.
That's per the norm.
Yeah. And then Justine got more to do.
Yeah.
I loved Rhonda's storyline, in particular with Bash.
Yeah.
That was kind of my unsung favorite arc of the season, I think.
Yeah, because it was one moment that was very, very telling. That I absolutely loved because it was just like a very mannish moment, like the stereotypical mannish moment, like this is my property kind of deal. When he runs up on a guy, a stagehand, that's just simply helping out his wife. And because, of course, for those who don't know, they got married, Bash and Rhonda get married in the end of the second season. And he kisses her like right in front of him, like just to make sure like this is my property. And all the while she's like very disgusted because he is just completely gone emotionally right now from her.
Yeah, like his emotional journey in this season, I loved.
Yeah. I love the reaction between him and his mother because she comes back into the scene for an episode, and it's really telling of how how he thinks she sees him, but also how he sees himself.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, and of course we love Kia Stevens here on the show. I'd say.
Yes. Yeah,
and she has a very interesting arc this season, I thought.
She has an incredible arc, and one of, to me, the best examples, even as almost, I hate to say, just idealistic that it comes to the way the performance of professional wrestling is, the way they treat it. Like, yes, they appreciate the hardships of it, but they kind of like put over the grandiose nature of it, the absurdity of it.
Yeah.
Her story emphasize just how rough it is to be a wrestler.
Absolutely, and it figures that one of the actual trained wrestlers on the show would be the one to tell that story.
Right, that would be able to pull it off properly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if there's much else to, because it's a pretty good season.
Yeah.
Kind of would have obviously because they were spread kind of thin because they wanted to try to give everybody something to do. As a result, some stuff just kind of gets resolved.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, maybe it would have been better if they did an interesting couple of episodes where they kind of like what they did with the Good Twin.
Yeah.
In season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was an amazing episode.
That really was.
Maybe they did because they end it with a Christmas episode.
Yeah,
I won't give up.
That was a great moment with Carmen playing Death and the Grim Reaper and having this. I'm shocked they've never done this in WWE, where they had the light be the grave and somebody whoever falls into the light loses.
I know, because they've done the 3 ghosts thing and stuff like that before. But yeah, they've never done that, which is weird, because they've even had light play an important role in some episodes.
Right, exactly.
Oh, man.
But I think we both can agree in terms of probably the biggest flaw, not necessarily for us, but maybe for a lot of people that watched it that were kind of drawn into the idea of these actresses becoming wrestlers. There's not that much wrestling this season.
Yeah.
Simply because of the fact they treat this showcase of them being a part of Globe, like Globe being on location and taking residence in Las Vegas, is the fact that they used pretty much the last episode, that season finale or series finale episode of Globe before when they were on public access, as the pretty much outline for every episode, every show that they do. So when people coming in, new tourists and everything, they see the same show. Mm-hmm. And the wrestlers themselves there's one episode where you see Ruth, they celebrate their 50th show. And then by the time they get to their 200th, nobody cares anymore because it's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the things that was always intriguing was the changes in terms of development as a wrestler, as an in-ring competitor, but also as characters. We had better in-ring storylines. So those episodes, like you said, the Christmas episode that felt unique because of them actually going out of their way to do a wrestling-themed episode that wasn't the same episode of the previous ones, was really enjoyable.
Absolutely.
So if you are looking forward to it for the wrestling aspect, I think you'll be sorely disappointed.
Yeah, which is a shame. But there's very much a focus on finding your identity this season.
Yes.
Which is always something they kind of tried to do. But I think this season in particular really does a good job of that.
Yeah, especially with Debbie and Ruth. Like you said, the way they went about it was definitely left something to be desired. Mm-hmm. But I thought Ruth was really good in the portrayal of she has hit a high point in her potential career as an actress. And unfortunately, it's just not satisfying. Especially now that, like I said, we get to this mundane routine of doing the same show every time. You could tell from a character aspect, when they did the episodes, like the Christmas episode or the episode where they switched characters, she was having the most fun.
Yeah. It's just... But, I also liked how they even did the identity thing with Sandy.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, because so even some of the characters, there's a lot of self-discovery, and I think that's one of the highlights of the season for sure, just in terms of the emotional core. And, for whatever it might lack by not giving each storyline enough time, not giving enough characters enough to do, I think the heart of the show is still there, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, like I said, we've always said that one of the biggest things about the show and the series and the way that it's so endearing is the relationship between the characters, not necessarily the in-ring characters, but the people behind the characters. Mm-hmm. And this time we've seen certain interactions. We've seen a closeness and a bond with the majority of the characters, but this time they really isolated certain characters and gave you a real good glimpse of their struggles and exactly why we're looking forward to seeing what they do next. And that's one thing I will spoil. This is the first time that we walked away from the season, and it was kind of a downer.
It's true, yeah. This is probably one of the most downer... Yeah.
Because
that's absolutely true.
Like the first season ended pretty much like, hey, we got this show now. Second season, hey, we're going to Las Vegas. And third season ended, wow, like how are they going to continue with this show now?
They'll find a way. They've got an obvious way to do it.
Oh yeah, it's very obvious that it's not ending the way I think they wanted to make you believe that it's going to end, but they still did a good enough job to say, wow, if that was the end, I would not be too surprised.
Yeah,
they did a good enough job with that.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. But I think that's pretty good. Yeah, it's still just, it's on Netflix. Check it out. 10 episodes. You can do it, folks.
Yeah, and one thing about it with these ones, it's rarely between 25 to 35 minutes each episode. So it's never
it's true. There's no 40-minute episode.
No.
Because they had one in the second season, I believe.
Yeah, I believe the season finale was the longest episode.
Yeah.
And other than that, no, it's a really easy watch. Very much so. And also had to note, great soundtrack, especially for the end credits, every episode.
Absolutely. Yeah, because then they have a lot more Fleetwood Mac this season.
Yes!
And I'm like, Fleetwood Mac is one of those, I don't really think about it too much, but I'm like, oh yeah, that is good.
Right. Every time you hear it, it's like, oh yeah.
Because they got Quando, 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 they got Baby Let Me Kiss You, they got Disorder, they got Big Mess, they got Gypsy, of course. Light of a Clear Blue Morning, When the Chips Are Down, Cities in Dust, Barracuda, and Running Up That Hill.
Yeah, oh man. Of course they would have a Kate Bush song.
Yeah, of course.
They're great. No, I mean, the great soundtrack they got this season 2.
And of course they're still using The Warrior.
Of course, yeah.
Alright, I think that's good to wrap the episode there.
Yeah, very much so. Like, really good season. Like I said, this is one of the times I just wanted more. I wanted a little bit more, not in terms of what they offer, but just episodes. Like I could have lived with 12 episodes this season.
Absolutely.
They could have had Debbie and they could have had Debbie and Ruth get lost in the desert for at least one episode.
Oh no, mountain lions! Quick, call Jack Bauer. That's not a thing yet. All right.
Oh man.
So it's gonna be interesting. Once this episode's up, I'll be in Japan.
Yes.
But we'll see how that goes.
Taking the Pop Tower International.
Yeah. Well, until next time, folks, just always remember, you gotta aim true with the crossbody. Otherwise, just end up doing a botched 450.
Oh, man.